Again, my name is Andy Collins. I'm the Design and Development Manager for Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons, which means I'm the guy who's the mean draconian boss of all the folks responsible for the rules for your role-playing and minis games. So the very first 4th edition product that we're going to be showing off is Keep on the Shadowfell, an adventure written by Rich Baker and Mike Merles. It's right over there. This is going to come out a month before the core rulebook. So this will be the very first place that you get to see the 4th edition rules if you weren't lucky enough to be here, for instance. So in May you'll be able to play this, start out right away. If you already know what you're doing, you might be able to kit bash your own characters together, but we're also going to give you some ready-to-play characters so you can go through that. Also comes with some double-sided poster maps, so lots of gaming excitement there. Then, of course, in June, we've got the core rulebooks, kicking off with the Player's Handbook. 8 races, 8 classes, hundreds and hundreds of powers for those characters to use. Lots of feats, lots of magic items. This thing is chock full of mechanical gewgaws and doodads and things to build your character exactly the way you want to. Dungeon Master's Guide. Dungeon Master's Guide is always sort of a weird product to talk about because everybody thinks, well, I don't need a Dungeon Master's Guide. I know how to run the game. But secretly, I think all of us down in our hearts, even those of us who have been DMing for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, know that, there's always a little part of my game that I could use a little helper on. This is the book that's designed to make good Dungeon Masters great. No matter who you are, how long you've been running the game, from a day to 30 years, this is the book that will help your game, help you provide a better game experience for your players. James Wyatt was the principal author on this and has just done an amazing job of communicating key concepts about running a great game to the reader, the Dungeon Master. It is, like I said, obviously primarily a Dungeon Master's book. This is not a book that the players will need to own, unlike Dungeon Master's Guides of previous editions, but it is all still going to be full of great things for the DM to use. And of course, the Monster Manual. This thing is absolutely packed with monsters. In fact, so packed that we're still slicing out words here and there. Chris Perkins has been working on trying to get all of these monsters to fit in the pages of this book.
No.
I'm a monster. Steve Schubert has that as his ringtone on his cell phone. It's pretty funny. And then, of course, since they're all coming out in the same month, we give you the opportunity to buy them in a nice, cool slip cover that you can keep on your bookshelf. Then we get into the heart of D&D is our big, nice hardback source books. The product currently known as Tome of Treasures, we'll see what it finally ends up with when it gets through legal. This is following in the footsteps of the Magic Item Compendium from not too long ago, in that it is a book directed specifically at both players and Dungeon Masters, right? This isn't just a book for the Dungeon Master to flip through and set on his shelf and the players never look at. This is the Arms and Equipment Guide, the gun book for Dungeons and Dragons. Expands on the magic items presented in the Player's Handbook with hundreds and hundreds of more examples for characters of 1st to 30th level, as well as plenty of non-magical things too. There are new weapons in here, armor, alchemical items, and other sorts of tools that we couldn't quite fit into the Player's Handbook. Very exciting book. We're just finishing up development on it over the next week or two, but it's been a lot of fun to work on. This is the first of our power source books. It's, as its name suggests, is directed at the martial power source, which is our fighters, rangers, rogues, and warlords. This is the Complete Warrior or Sword and Fist for 4th edition, but it's directed specifically at those characters, and that's what we're going to continue on with the other books in this series. You might be able to guess for yourself what some of those titles will be, but we're going to try here to make this the one place where the fighter or the ranger goes for things, rather than saying, oh, well, there's There's also a prestige class and a half a dozen feats in an arcane power book that I might like, and there's also some in this other book. Right, this is the book. If you're playing one of these classes, this is the book that you're going to look to expand the options that are available to you from the Player's Handbook. And one of our favorite titles, Draconomicon. This one's going to be all about the chromatic dragons, also adding 3 new dragons to the chromatic family. We figured it was time to expand that family tree a little bit. This is following the footsteps of the 3rd edition Draconomicon in that it combines crunchy rules material with neat psychology and society and physiological notes about the dragons. So if you like the 3rd edition Draconomicon, and judging by the message board threads I've read over the last few years, at least a few of you did, I think you'll find this book pretty cool. And our last big hardback for 2008, Manual of the Planes. Some of you may recognize that as a bit of a throwback cover to the 1st edition version. We're trying with this book to capture the wonder and excitement of going to the other planes without the, oh, and by the way, now that you've gone to this plane, you're screwed. The goal with our new planar cosmology is to create lots of fantastic and interesting places that player characters actually want to visit, not that they feel punished for having to visit. So this is, again, primarily a Dungeon Master's book. It is all about designing those cool encounters and adventures off on our planes, but it's also going to be a pretty useful tool for players looking for a travel guide. It's not quite a explore the Feywild on $20 a day, but and of course it wouldn't be D&D without adventures. We're kicking off with our heroic level adventures, covering the first 10-level span of D&D. We got 3 of these going up here. These are all written by the best and brightest adventure designers we've got out there. We've got Mike Merles, Rich Baker, James Wyatt, who am I forgetting? Bruce Cordell, right, whose name fails to appear on one of those for some reason. So these are guys who know how adventures work, right? These adventures are taking advantage of all the coolness of 4th edition. Again, the first one is going to give you the fast play rules for 4th edition, but once you've gotten through that, you'll be well on your way to getting through the heroic tier. All of them come with a big poster-sized battle map for neat encounters there. And after heroic tier, we move on to the Paragon level. This is covering levels to 20. That's one of my favorite covers so far, the Demon Queen's Enclave. Again, more of our best authors, Rich Baker, Dave Noonan, and so on. And obviously this doesn't show all the adventures that we're going to be giving you. We've got more Paragon and Epic level adventures coming in 2009, as well as some other interesting surprises. We might be revisiting some old favorites as well.